Not all fat's created equal, and most people have no idea that the fat they need to worry about most often is not the fat they can see or pinch. It's the fat they can't see at all. Fat wrapped around their organs, visceral fat. And a study published in Nature Communications analyzed over 40,000 MRI scans made something crystal clear. Visceral fat is directly linked to cardiometabolic disease in a way that the fat sitting under your skin simply is not. In fact, that study found that fat around the hips may actually be protective. So the question is not just how much fat you do have, the question is where your body is storing it. And today, I'm going to show you the 5 things that are actively pushing fat storage inward towards your organs, the science behind why each one does it, and exactly what to do about it. Let's go. Before we get into the 5 offenders, you need to understand what makes visceral fat so dangerous compared to regular body fat. Because until relatively recently, scientists treated fat like inert storage, just calories sitting there, mostly harmless until there was too much of it. That understanding changed when researchers discovered that fat tissue actually secretes hormones and signaling molecules. Some subcutaneous fat, the fat under your skin, can secrete leptin, which helps regulate appetite and energy expenditure. A small amount of subcutaneous fat is not your enemy. Visceral fat, that's a completely different story. Visceral fat sits around your intestines and it likely evolved as an immune buffer, a barrier against bacteria and particles that leak from the gut. It houses immune cells called macrophages. In an acute infection, that's useful, but when there is constant leakage of bacterial particles from the gut, those macrophages stay activated and visceral fat becomes a chronic inflammation factory. On top of that, visceral fat secretes inflammatory cytokines, including TNF-alpha and IL-6, which drives systemic inflammation throughout the entire body and not just locally. And visceral fat is directly linked to high levels of something called RBP4, retinol binding protein 4. Which is considered a casual factor in insulin resistance because it actually blocks insulin receptors in skeletal muscle from receiving their signal. So visceral fat is not just extra storage, it's metabolically and immunologically active, and it actively drives insulin resistance. That is why a massive meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal that looked at 72 studies and over 2.5 million participants found that larger thigh and hip circumference was associated with lower mortality risk, where increased central fatness increased mortality risks significantly. This is not about the number on the scale. This is about where your body is storing what you eat, and food directly influences that. Number 1, trans fat. There was a well-designed study published that looked at 42 monkeys over 6 years. Researchers fed one group trans fats from hydrogenated soybean oil and the other group monounsaturated fat. The calories were matched perfectly. The only variable was the type of fat. The monkeys eating trans fats gained significantly more visceral fat and showed impaired glucose metabolism. The trans fat did not just make them gain weight, they changed where the fat went. They shifted fat storage towards the visceral region specifically. At an intake that researchers estimated could mirror about 15 to 20 grams of trans fat per day for a person eating regular ultra-processed food. That is not a difficult amount to hit if you're not paying attention. Trans fats are a slow, quiet shove towards the most dangerous kind of fat storage. And they've been doing damage to people for years before most of them ever realized it. Number 2, ultra-processed foods. A study in clinical nutrition looked at nearly 1,500 older Spanish adults and assessed visceral fat accumulation alongside ultra-processed food intake. Higher ultra-processed food consumption was clearly associated with higher visceral fat. Now here is the part that stopped me in my tracks. The study was done in Spain, where people eat dramatically less processed food than Americans do. The high intake group in that study was consuming around 15% of their food as ultra-processed. In the United States, research published in the British Medical Journal found that we are over 60%, sometimes higher. And the mechanism goes deeper than just the trans fat inside these foods. Ultra-processed foods devastate the gut microbiome. Emulsifiers, preservatives, colorants, antibiotic residues from low-quality meat, all of it disrupts microbial communities. And a study in the International Journal of Obesity that profiled gut microbiomes in nearly 900 people using DEXA scans found that decreased microbial diversity was directly associated with increases in visceral fat. If recovery is the part of your routine you keep skipping, this changes that. These are the Fit King leg compression boots, built to bring professional level recovery right into your home. The full length sleeves provide customizable compression from your feet all the way to your thighs, helping reduce soreness, improve circulation, and get you ready for your next workout. They're genuinely comfortable, not the stiff, awkward fit you'd expect, and the zipper design makes them easy to put on and take off while keeping the sleeves securely in place throughout your recovery session. Everything is controlled through the easy-to-use handheld controller, so you can quickly adjust the pressure, mode, and session length to match exactly what your body needs. Whether you've crushed a heavy leg day, finished a long run, or you're just looking to recover faster, the Fit King makes it easy to prioritize recovery at home. In the box, you get 2 full leg compression sleeves, the controller, power adapter, user manual, and a carrying bag so you can store everything neatly when you're done. It comes with free shipping, a 1-year warranty, secure payment, and easy returns or exchanges, making it an easy addition to your recovery routine. Check out the Fit King at the link in the description and make recovery a part of your training, not something you skip. Number 3, sugar-sweetened beverages. A study in the Journal of Nutrition looked at over 2,500 middle-aged adults and found that daily consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages was associated with significantly greater visceral fat than non-consumers. Another study in obesity found the effects hit visceral fat specifically, not subcutaneous fat. Here's the mechanism. Normally, the enzyme lipoprotein lipase in subcutaneous fat is more sensitive to insulin than the same enzyme in visceral fat. So insulin tends to push storage towards subcutaneous tissue. But when you become insulin resistant, subcutaneous fat becomes less responsive and the more fatty acids get rooted viscerally. Then add fructose into the equation. Fructose activates glucocorticoids like cortisol. Visceral fat has a higher concentration of glucocorticoid receptors than subcutaneous fat, so it's more sensitive to those cortisol signals. You get a double hit: insulin resistance plus cortisol signaling, both pushing fat inwards simultaneously. Number 4, fruit juice. I know this one surprises people. It surprised me when I first looked at the data closely. People think juice is natural. It comes from fruit. It must be fine. Here's the problem. Fruit juice can contain more fructose than soda because it delivers free fructose and glucose in proportions that are heavily skewed toward fructose without the fiber that slows down absorption and regulates intake. Research published in a journal reported that fructose made up 60% of sugars in many sugar-sweetened beverages, 52% in high fructose corn syrup beverages, and 67% in 100% fruit juices. There is more fructose in your glass of apple juice than in a can of soda. And without the fiber that whole fruit brings, your body gets hit with a rapid concentrated fructose load with nothing to slow it down. Number 5, alcohol. Gentlemen, it's not called a beer belly for no reason. A study in the Annals of Nutrition and Metabolism assessed body composition in nearly 1,000 healthy people using CT scans that could distinguish visceral from subcutaneous fat. Higher alcohol intake was associated with dramatically more visceral fat mass. People consuming more than 14 standard drinks per week had significantly higher risk of metabolic syndrome. Another study found that women who drink frequently are at even higher risk for storing fat viscerally than men. And the research suggests that beer is worse than wine or liquor, likely due to its estrogenic compounds. Alcohol is not just extra calories. It disrupts the metabolic and hormonal environment in ways that specifically favor visceral fat storage. If you are carrying fat around your midsection and you drink regularly, the connection is real. Now let me give you the practical side, because knowing the enemy is only half the battle. First, stop chasing the scale and start targeting visceral fat specifically. Only visceral fat tracked with higher cardiometabolic disease. Subcutaneous fat did not show the same association. You can make meaningful health progress even if the scale moves slowly, as long as visceral fat is moving in the right direction. The strategies I'm about to give you are specifically designed to shift the signals that visceral fat responds to. Second, use intermittent fasting combined with protein pacing. A study in obesity compared intermittent fasting with protein pacing against standard calorie restriction. Both groups ate the same total calories, but the IF in protein pacing group spread their intake across 4 meals with 20 to 40 grams of protein each, hit 35% of calories from protein, and incorporated strategic fasting windows. The result, the calorie restriction group saw a 14% reduction in visceral fat over 8 weeks. The intermittent fasting plus protein pacing group saw a 33% reduction in visceral fat over the same 8 weeks. Same calories, dramatically different results because of timing, protein distribution, and the hormonal environment those created. On top of that, the desire to eat decreased 17% in the combined group while staying roughly the same in the calorie restriction group. The approach was more sustainable, preserved more lean mass, and produced better outcomes across every marker they measured. Third, eat a high polyphenol Mediterranean-style diet. A study published in BMC tracked 294 participants over a year and a half across 3 groups: a standard healthy dietary guidelines group, a Mediterranean diet group, and a high polyphenol Mediterranean diet group. The results speak for themselves. The healthy guidelines group lost essentially no weight, but their visceral fat still dropped 4.2%. The standard Mediterranean group lost 2.7% body weight and reduced visceral fat 6%. The high polyphenol Mediterranean group lost 3.9% body weight and reduced visceral fat by 14%. The difference was not how much they lost on the scale, it was where the fat came from. Polyphenols from dark berries, dark chocolate, coffee, green tea, walnuts, turmeric, and quality plant foods changed where the body pulled fat from. The mechanism runs through the gut microbiome. Microbial metabolism of polyphenols produces compounds specifically correlate with visceral fat reduction. Eat food that feeds your gut the right inputs, and your gut sends back signals that drive fat out of the visceral region. It's that direct. Fourth, increase your soluble fiber intake. A study tracking over 1,000 people with CT scans over 5 years found that for every 10-gram increase in soluble fiber intake, visceral fat accumulation dropped by nearly 4%. The mechanism is short-chain fatty acids. When your gut bacteria ferment soluble fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate and acetate. These components activate AMPK in muscle cells, increase fatty acid and glucose uptake, reduce appetite, and activate brown adipose tissue through a gut-brain neural circuit. Fiber doesn't just help you feel full and keep you regular, it is supplying raw materials to a factory. Your microbiome turns those materials into metabolic signals that tell your body to burn fat, specifically visceral fat, and improve insulin sensitivity while it does it. On fruit and fructose. A study in the Journal of Metabolism randomized obese subjects to either a low fructose diet under 20 grams per day or a moderate natural fructose diet with 50 to 70 grams of fructose per day coming from whole fruit. Both groups were calorie restricted. The whole fruit group lost 9.2 pounds. The low fructose group lost 6.2 pounds. More fructose from whole fruit, more fat loss. The problem has never been fructose existing in your diet. The problem is fructose delivered in a form that bypasses satiety signals and hits your system with a concentrated, rapid load. Whole fruit brings fiber, minerals, and a food matrix that slows absorption and makes overconsumption difficult. Juice and soda do the opposite. Same molecule, completely different outcome based on delivery. Here's the summary. 5 foods and drinks are actively funneling fat towards your organs: trans fats, ultra-processed foods, sugar-sweetened beverages, fruit juice, and alcohol. They do not just add calories, they change where fat goes. They shift the hormonal and metabolic environment in ways that specifically favor visceral fat storage. Fight back with intermittent fasting and protein pacing, a high polyphenol diet built around real food, high soluble fiber intake that feeds your microbiome, and by eliminating or dramatically reducing the 5 offenders. You do not need perfect calories, you need the right signals. The men who win this fight are not necessarily the ones eating the least. They are the ones eating the smartest and giving their gut and metabolic systems what they need to route fat away from the organs and towards places it can actually be burned. You now know what visceral fat actually is, why it's dangerous, what foods are directly driving it, and what the research says that actually reverses it. Take this information and use it, not next week, now. Subscribe to my channel if I gave you something real. Every week I put out content that is built around science and built for people who are serious about their health and performance.